Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Today we're going to be doing a electoral college prediction. In this case, it is going to be between the current vice president, J.D. Vance, on the Republican side. He has been floated as the most likely candidate at the moment. We've still got a while before 2028, but at the moment he's been floated as the most likely Republican candidate to get the Republican Party's nomination in 2028 on the presidential level. Versus on the Democratic side, the governor of California, Governor Gavin Newsom. He is not quite by the same margin, but largely regarded to be the Democratic Party's nominee. Like I said with Vance, things are still early, a lot could change. But for now, we'll be doing a fun little prediction between these two candidates. I'm not necessarily predicting that either one of these will actually be their respective parties' candidates. This is much more of a hypothetical, but nonetheless, still a fun little exercise to do. So I will start out in the west and then move eastward. So we have the Pacific coast here with Washington, Oregon, California. All of those states are almost certainly, unless something truly crazy happens, but they are certainly going to be in the Democratic Party's column. And then we get to the first swing state, so we're going to add a tilt characterization. I'm going to do a tilt characterization for all of the swing states, just because generally they are close. It might end up being in the lean margin, but regardless, it is respective political party, its respective electoral college votes for that party's nominee. So I'm going to start out in Nevada. I do think that Nevada right now is generally a pretty good atmosphere for Democrats. Gavin Newsom, of course, is the governor of the state of California, so he's got some neighbor appeal. I think this could also partially be to his detriment, just because Nevada and just really states throughout the country, and especially in the Southwest, people who have moved out of California with generally Republican, generally conservative positions on issues, hoping to leave a state that is definitely more on the liberal side in terms of leadership, that being California. Ultimately, I don't think that this is going to be enough. I think the majority of people are going to vote for Gavin Newsom. Right now is also just a much more favorable environment for Democrats. We've seen Democrats overperform by fairly consistent margins. At the moment, it is not looking like it will be a 2018 sort of midterms. This is 2028. But it is looking like Democrats will do well in the elections in 2026, and if they can propel that into doing well on the presidential level in 2028, I think it's very doable for Democrats to do just that. And then we're going to get to the state of Arizona. Arizona, I'm going to put that in the Republican Party's column. That state, I think that Vance would probably be a better candidate than Trump. Well, Trump can't run again, but in a hypothetical, I think that Vance would be a better candidate. He's just less scandal-ridden, and in general, just not quite as controversial as Trump. So I'm going to put the state of Arizona into the Republican Party's column. So that is one state for each. We have 231 to 230, with Gavin Newsom taking a slight edge. I do think that edge is going to expand slightly. And honestly, I might even be willing to put this little Omaha district into the lean category, but I did say I would do tilt for all the swing districts and states. So that one is fairly easy for me to predict. Even Harris was able to win it in 2024. And as you all know, that was generally not a great year for Democrats. So I think it would take a lot, and I don't think that Gavin Newsom would have a hard time winning this district in this hypothetical matchup. And then I'll head on down to the south. I do think in Georgia that this is Gavin Newsom. He has a good chance of winning this state. Gavin Newsom lately, well, at times, it's up to you if you think he actually is or not, but he's tried to portray himself as more of a moderate. J.D. Vance is, I would probably be regarded as the more extreme candidate. He is, I think, a more electable candidate than Trump in many key areas. I think the only area where Trump might do better is in the Rust Belt, but even, J.D. Vance was a former senator from Ohio and grew up in the Rust Belt region. So I do think that Newsom would have a possible difficult time winning the 3 Rust Belt states, but for now we're going to go back to North Carolina. So we're going to put North Carolina in the Republican Party's column. right now is just a much more favorable environment for Democrats, and I do think that, like I mentioned earlier, Vance definitely does have some Rust Belt appeal, but I think just the national environment being in favor of Democrats. And generally, for the most part, the three states vote together. Oh, oops, forgot to do that. There we go. Generally, the three Rust Belt states do vote together. I think that Pennsylvania would probably be Gavin Newsom's hardest state to win. It'd be J.D. Vance's most likely to win. But for now, I'm going to put the three Rust Belt states into the into the tilt blue category, bringing us to 292 to 246. This is, of course, victory for Gavin Newsom. I'd love to hear your guys' insights. Feel free to agree or disagree with me in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.